Hi Leo, welcome to your February 2024 Astro Tarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign, but if you're only going to watch one of them, make sure it's for your ascendant sign or your rising sign as it's also known, because it's going to be the most accurate for you on that day-to-day level. With that said, I use whole sign Western tropical astrology for those of you that would like to know, and the details of the transits that I'm going to be talking about are in the description box below. Also, if you would like to get your personal Astro Tarot with me, where we dig into your chart and some of the bigger transits coming up for you, hit the link in the description box below. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So what do I want to start with saying? Well, first of all, Pluto is the power player this month, right? There's no getting around that. Now, for you personally, what this means is your 7th house of partnerships, relationships, significant others, contracts, one-to-one connections and commitments, and even your competitors are going to be a big part of this month for you. Now, this month is very much about relationships and everything around them or within them, whether these are personal relationships, professional relationships, or platonic or even familial relationships. All of your relationships are now getting a much deeper energy and a perspective. Why is that? Well, because Pluto, the Lord of transformation, change, secrets, it is the energy of power and control, is coming back into the sign of Aquarius. Well, it's already in the sign of Aquarius. Pluto moved back into the sign of Aquarius on the 21st of January this year. It's now going to be there right the way through till September the 8th, where it's going to then dip back into Capricorn, and then it will come back into, on the 20th of November, it will come back into Aquarius, where it will be for the next 20 to 21 years, right? So it's a big, big deal. Now, that being said, this is all in your 7th house, right? But what we've got happening, what a big part of this setup is, the personal planets are Mercury, Venus and Mars are going to start to cross over into Aquarius and come into conjunctions with that Pluto or that Plutonic energy, right? So this is powerful, right? And there's no way to get around it. And you might have noticed as Pluto moved into Aquarius in 2023, it happened from the 7th of March for about 6 to 8 weeks. That gave you a taster of what you were getting over this next. It was like a little sort of taster. Now, the first transit that I want to look at is on February the 5th. Mercury, the planet of communication, conversation, haste, speed. It is also the flow and the transactional nature of money is coming into a conjunction with Pluto in your 7th house. Now, Mercury for you occupies, or should I say it rules, your 2nd house, which is occupied by Virgo, and it also rules your 11th house, which is occupied by Gemini, right? So Mercury, it rules two money houses in your chart. The money that you make and spend is and earn and keep for yourself. That's the energy of Virgo. And the 11th house of Gemini for you it's effectively, because we're talking about here, your 10th house is your career, but the gains that you get from that, i.e. the money that you make from your career, is your 11th house, and Gemini also rules that for you. So it's highlighting to you what your partnerships are doing when it comes to creating money, basically. Pluto rules your 4th house of Scorpio, which for you, your 4th house is occupied by Scorpio, right? So your home, family, property, real estate. Mercury, your 2nd and 11th houses, there's definitely something here about the future of your home and your living situation. It's also potentially some kind of conversation that happens via the implications of resources, shared resources. I mean, particularly your money, to be fair, not so much 8th house stuff. Family matters around finances could get quite loud at this moment in time, as could the balance of power around finances and money at this time, because we're talking about the 7th house, which for you is occupied by Aquarius. So this is your relationships, but it's all about your money, your resources, what you have, what you're getting, what cut of the pie you get. All of that is coming up now for review. Now, with this, you've got the Magician card, so it puts you in a position of power, which is great. You've got this with the Temperance card. Okay, so you are going to need to negotiate hard here for something. And you've also got the Moon card. So this could be an old deal, an old opportunity that comes back into your world. This is likely to have something to do with an old partnership, an old offer of work, or some kind of resources, maybe some kind of financial implication. With the Moon card on the Temperance card as well, this does look like you are reconsidering a contract that maybe previously before you kind of said to yourself, oh, you know what, this isn't for me. So there's a lot of negotiation energy going on at the moment, but because we started this with the Magician, I like this. I actually think it puts you in a position of power and strength, and given the fact that this is a 7th house transit, it's quite important to look at the dynamics of contracts, communications, interaction between yourself and your peers. So really, really interesting stuff here. Excuse me. So the second transit that I want to look at is on the 13th of March, Mars, the planet of passion, excitation, irritation, anger, frustration, war. It is also your driving willpower is coming into that will then also come into a conjunction with Pluto. This is quite powerful and it's quite explosive. So ancient astrology, Mars ruled Scorpio. So technically Mars rules your 4th house, but it also rules your 9th house. This provides you with a lot of energy, and in your 7th house, this could be an irritating factor. And quite frankly, if you're in a relationship that's not strong or isn't, has already had a lot of challenges or issues, this could be a boiling point of some sort, because this is potentially an explosive combination. There's a lot of energy here, and it's in the sign of Aquarius, which means you might find a way to talk it out and potentially reason with each other, but it will require a lot of really serious consideration and also a lot of really listening to each other about what your desires are, and also where your personal belief structures are either not compatible and what you can do about that going forward. A relationship isn't about morphing into each other. It's about learning how to compromise with one another so that you can continue in a harmonious connection, right? So it's like, what are the truths about your belief structure and your belief system that are, really sort of not damaging the relationship, but are in the way of the flow of the energy in your relationship. It might also highlight to you as well where too many people have been getting involved in your relationship connections. There could also be like a revelation of a lot of resentment of some sort coming to the surface. Remember, Pluto, wherever it goes, it pulls up the dredge so that you can have the best of whatever is there, right? Pluto reveals to you the true potential of whatever it touches. Because you've got Mars there, this could be a conversation about the true value of your home. It could be about the true way that you value your family and your, etc. Because it also rules Aries, this could also be about the value of education or information of some sort. Now, for this, you've got the 6 of Cups. That's the past. With the 2 of Pentacles, okay, and the 8 of Pentacles. So one of the ways that this might show up for some of you is, maybe a partner or a significant other says to you, look, you work too much. You're not really around. I don't feel like you're here for me to connect with. And maybe that's the problem. With the 6 of Cups and the 2 of Pentacles, this could be old financial commitments, ideas, and even, considerations. So as an example, let's say one of you changed careers, right? And the other one said, okay, I'm going to pick up the financial slack because you're just starting out now. So maybe now at this point you're earning a lot more money and your partner's still carrying more than their fair share, and maybe that's where the resentment comes in. That's just one example of this. It's not going to be the same for everybody. Now, because this is the 7th house, if you are single and looking, one of the considerations here is how much are you working and how much is that getting in the way of you having a relationship. The relationship as well that comes up, because the 8 of Pentacles is work, this could be a working relationship of some sort that gets really strained in some regard. So there's a lot to consider here for you guys, and something that it will need to be looked at. So on the 22nd of the month, Mars is going to come into a conjunction at 7 degrees with Venus. Mars and Venus are celestial lovers, right? So they love to connect, they love to come together, they do good work when they do. Now for you, Venus represents your 3rd house of communications, conversations on an everyday level, and she also represents your 10th house, which is occupied by Taurus, which represents your career. So in your 7th house, this is it's all that's passed over this time. There's a decidedly healing or soothing balm energy that comes in with Venus. Wherever she goes, she kind of quells the fire, she eases things up, she makes it easier for us to function or to maybe even to heal in that area. This is allowing you to see clearer and with less stress, but it's also helping you communicate that much clearer, right? So any problems or issues that you have in a relationship, this could be a time where you're able to actually talk it out. Now, because this is happening at 7 degrees and Pluto is such a power player, this could technically be said to be a conjunction to Pluto as well. Connecting, Mars to her, Venus's lover Mars to her. This is an energy of sex and passion in the 7th house. It's also a connection between you and someone who matters via your career, and maybe even someone who you share common mental ground with. So if you're single, this could be great. A partner could absolutely, could be finding their way to you, providing you're willing to have those hard talks. If you are in a relationship, this could also represent you and a significant other finding some kind of healing throughout this connection as well. This is a lot of 7th house energy, and because the career is implicated, this could be a contract of some sort that comes in. It could also be where you start to realize, okay, in order to fulfill this contract or to move ahead with these opportunities that are showing up through other people, through my network, through people that I know, through people that I'm connected to, you kind of realize very quickly that, the usual anything is just not going to cut it. You will need to show up in different or new sort of ways in some regard. For this, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Love that for you. This is going to be great for the career. You've got this with the Knight of Swords, which does suggest that there is potentially interviews, but there's also a possibility here that a conversation could either get out of hand, or maybe, the negotiations around something, they take a lot longer and a lot more mental focus than you had, maybe hoped it would. And then you've got the Chariot card. So for some of you, this might actually spell out a shift or a change when it comes to either your work or your professional or academic sphere. For others, because the Chariot card is a travel card, this could be some kind of travel that comes up potentially quite spontaneously. Like in a way where you kind of, maybe it's travel that comes up for you in a way that you don't even anticipate. But look, it has an international feel about it that is decidedly very good for you. And Mars rules your 9th house of foreign cultures, distant lands, travel and people. Coaches, teaching and gurus as well. So I actually really like this. I think this is probably one of the lighter moments of the month. And then finally, as if that wasn't enough, Mercury comes into a conjunction with the Sun in the sign of Pisces and Saturn, right? This is a lot of energy. This will take place around 10 degrees of Pisces. Now, whatever or whoever Mercury rules for you, and also the Sun. Remember, Mercury rules Gemini, which is which is in your 11th house. That's friendships and higher aspirations, goals and dreams, but it's also benefactors, people that can help you. And then Virgo, the second house, people that are of value to you. Conjunct the Sun, which is your ruler, right? So this rules your body, your mind, your outlook, the physical aspect of you, as well as your mind and your personality, comes into a conjunction with Saturn at this time, which rules your 6th house of your physical health, vitality, your body, your day-to-day habits and routines, and your 7th house of relationships. This is potentially 8th house, a financial opportunity, or because the 8th house is other people's money. It's big money, institutional money, money that comes from us, from clients, right? Or from other people, from your, from anyone that's not you, right? The 7th house is your partner's money. It's also your client's money, your competitor's money. So this could have a very powerful financial implication to it, especially because the 11th house is the gains from your career. So it's like some opportunity is offered to you at the moment that could be very lucrative to you, but it's going to require a lot of hard work, right? Now, the other way that this could also show up is because the 6th house is implicated with Saturn, and the 8th house is crisis, challenge, conflict as well, right? It's also a space of deep transformational healing. Saturn could be giving you a nudge here to say, listen, you've got to get your health on point, he says, having a sniffle for the last but at one point I did lose my taste buds. For the first 3 weeks of December, I wasn't able to taste anything. I've kind of been through it, so I'm on the other way out now, but as you can tell, still got this bloody nose thing going on and all the rest of it, and it's high time that it fucking done one at this point, right? So all this happening in your 8th house, transformation, forward movement and momentum, and potentially even financial implications are showing up. This is where you have to face something hard, maybe take on a burden of some sort in order to extract the goodness, right? And remember, Mercury for you is your 11th house, the gains from your career, but your 2nd house of money, finances and resources, your resources, all of this happening in the 8th house of other people's money. That's an opportunity to make more money, to enhance your financial potential, but it is going to be hard work, right? The 8th house is also other people's resources, wills, loans, taxes, debts, mortgages, all of that kind of stuff. It might be a tougher moment than you would like, but at the same time, this could also show up as maybe you're assuming responsibility for somebody else's finances at this time. Now, for this, you have the Page of Swords, so there's possibly some kind of either legal implication or, what I would call like official documentation attached to this. With the 7 of Pentacles, okay, so definitely a financial element, and this with the 9 of Swords. Get out of your head, right? Whatever this opportunity is, don't stress or get frustrated about it. Get proactive. Ask yourself, okay, if this is what it's showing up as, what can I do to improve this, or what can I do to move ahead with it in some regard? Okay, so in terms of your moons, you will have a new moon in the sign of Aquarius in your 7th house on the 9th of February, right? 7th house, relationships, partnerships, contracts, one-to-one connections of a personal, professional or platonic nature. For this, you have the Gate 36 and greener grass. The message behind this card, as I'm sure you've worked out, is the grass isn't always greener, and the saying actually goes is the grass is greener where you water it. This card actually represents taking a moment to ask yourself if you are really sure about what you are pursuing, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that you're changing partner or you're chucking lane or whatever the case might be. It's really asking you to check in with your satisfaction level. Are you satisfied in what you have when it comes to all of your relationships, personal, professional, platonic, familial? These are the questions that you have to ask yourself now moving forward. And with that new moon and this card, you are being asked to really observe, what do you feel for yourself? What is in it for you? And then on the 24th of the month, you're going to have a full moon in the sign of Virgo, right? So in your money house, this is highlighting either potentially a financial opportunity, but it could just as easily represent some kind of peak moment or experience around your finances. So this could highlight where something it really is a go or where something is not a go. It could just as easily be the culmination of a project, an idea, a launch of a service, etc., that has a big financial impact for you. And it's a full moon, so this is peak energy here. For this, you've got the gate 62 and practicality. And so your message here is it practical? Does it make sense? But more importantly, what are the steps? What are the next logical steps in the process that you're experiencing when it comes to this full moon? Remember, a full moon is a completion, culmination, ending. It's where something comes to fruition. So you could see this now on a really practical level, that money could start to show up for you. So this could be really nice. With that said, again, if you want to get your own Astro Tarot, you can do that on the link in the description box below. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic month ahead of February. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon. And I also forgot to mention, my tarot course is up and out there for your purchasing pleasure. So if you want to learn tarot, you want to learn to do it like me, and you want to spend 12 weeks with yours truly, hit the link in the description box below and let's get it together. All right, take care, and I'll see you soon.